Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We're having a little bit of issues. I'm having some power issues at my house. So instead of having coffee, I had to run and go get coffee. So if everybody's here, if everybody's here and ready, let's go ahead and start. So what I wanted to talk about this morning is with all the updates and everything coming through with free agency, what must we do? Well, I think as fans, we must calm down. We have to calm down and we have to let our team make the decisions that they're going to make. But during this time, we can always speculate and we can always have fun guessing on what exactly they may or may not do. I'm thinking with free agency coming around in just a couple of days, it's going to get very, very crazy. Again, it can be very fun for some people. Guessing, hoping, fingers crossed, thinking, oh, this guy might come or he might not come, and not necessarily worrying about what the cap is or the prices are. Basically, going Madden, franchise on your team. So I'm very excited. There's been some recent reports about Carr and Aaron Rodgers going. Once they're gone, then we'll start figuring out where other players are going to be going. But until then, it's just good talk. So at this time, I would like to think once those guys go somewhere, then everybody else can follow. Carr's a good quarterback. He's got a lot of left in his tank. And Rodgers, I don't really see Rodgers going anywhere. I see him staying with the Packers, but still making enough noise and just being Aaron Rodgers like. Lamar, he's not going anywhere. The Ravens they're not going to let him go. It's just not going to happen. The Dolphins have Tua, but I see them trying to get somebody solid to be a backup. I think Jimmy could go there. I think a lot of good quarterbacks could go there. Marcus Mariota, he's really good. And I think that would be an interesting pickup for the 49ers with his ability to be mobile. But I don't see that happening either. I think that could be a team where he go to the Colts, or he could go to another team that just needs somebody to plug and play or gives him a better chance to start. Because a lot of people have said, why would a quarterback want to come to the 49ers? More than likely, they're not going to have that opportunity to be the first guy. And that's probably true. We have to go all in with Lance if he's healthy. If he's healthy, we have to roll the dice with him. Brock Purdy might not be back for a couple of months, and if he was coming back, it seems like the team is very, very pro Purdy. So it's hard to see another quarterback, a vet, or even a rookie come in and think that they have that opportunity to start. I would like to see them have an open competition at the position, but I still want to see Trey win. So deep down inside, you're rooting for Trey, but you want to have whoever they bring in be solid enough and be confident enough that they can win games. We don't need a Josh Johnson. We don't need Nate Sudfeld. Brian Hoyer, I've heard him come out too. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I know he's a Kyle guy, but when he came onto our team, I think he was the first person to start seeing ghost. I know we joke about Sam Darnold, but I think that was him. So with that happening, once I think we figure out what our quarterback is, and I think that's what they're going to do with free agency, they're going to see what vets are out there. And if they don't find the vet that they like, I think we're going to be going towards that in the draft. And I don't see them taking their first couple draft picks and going for a quarterback, not when you strike gold like the 7th round. So I'm also thinking that once that happens, the Niners will be, going after their D line and going after their offensive line. There are a lot of vibes, people saying McGlinchey might come back, he might not come back. It's hard to see him come back for the price that he can earn somewhere else. But sometimes people just want to win a ring, and this team's very, very close. So I think with that opportunity, when you're that close, do you test the market? Do you try to go somewhere else? I mean, is it going to be that much better? I don't know. So I'm looking forward to it. I see there's a bunch of good people here in the chat. I appreciate you all. If anybody wants to jump in, I will try to invite you. I'm going to put the link here in the chat, and we're going to go from there. But I think that's our biggest problem right now is just getting someone else that's a quarterback. We can win. We can win with the O-line that we have. We can win with the defensive line that we have, but we can't win without a quarterback. So I really do hope that we get 3 solid ones. At this point, we have Trey. I think we need at least 2 or 3 more. We definitely need 3 for camp. Purdy does not seem like he's going to be healthy anytime soon. And do you really want to rush the guy back in? If he really needs Tommy John, that's like a 9-month recovery time. That is. And Tommy John's a baseball injury. It's not a football injury. So for something to come in, you can't judge this injury off of a baseball injury. This is football. The guy got ran into. So again, do you really want to rush him in? Let's give Brock Purdy his time and let him come in. He's a rookie. We have time with him. Trey's a little bit older. He doesn't have the time that Purdy has, and Trey's healthier. So again, let's build around Trey. Let's bring in some quarterbacks to compete with him. If Trey's not the best out of that competition, then we put Trey to the side for a little bit, and Trey needs to stay ready and healthy. But again, we can't keep pushing Trey to the back. If we start pushing him to the back, eventually we won't have any time with him left either. The most important thing is to keep him healthy. So how do you keep him healthy? You definitely don't run him like a running back. You play him as quarterback. He needs to be in the pocket. He needs to develop as a quarterback. And I'm very, very excited because at this point, what else do we have to lose? Games. So we either play him or we just keep losing. And you get to a certain point, you're just going to be losing time. Hey, Steve-O. Hey, John Jay.
Yo.
Hope you guys all got some coffee. I was having some technical issues. Again, I have to walk down the street. Hey, that works too. So I just jumped on real quick because I'd like to do a little morning talk on the weekend sometimes. And I appreciate you guys jumping in. If you guys have any thoughts on the situation, right now is just going over quarterback being, I think that's probably our number one issue. So if anybody wants to elaborate, we'll start with Steve if you got anything.
Yeah, I just wanted so I can calculate everybody how they feel about Trey because I hear a lot of, he didn't have CMC and Kittle. So I just wanted, let's just say Trey starts for the whole year. Purdy's out. Assuming he starts even if he misses a couple of games, I just like to get your stats for the year on him coming up. I'll give you mine, so it gives you a second. But I'm thinking he's going to get like 3,400 passing yards, which is about 200 a game. About 25 rushing yards a game, so that's about 400 for the year. 25 touchdowns and 14 interceptions, and I think he'll rush for 8 touchdowns. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So figure this way, if you give me numbers, even though it's early, like maybe get a better idea of what you think Trey's going to accomplish, and is that going to get us to the Super Bowl?
All right, so you're asking about Trey Lance's stats, what I think for his prediction this season?
Correct.
I would think, he's probably going to get a couple rushing touchdowns. I would say about 4. I don't think there's going to be too many because we have backs, and unless they're going to start running them, like on the 1 or the 2, unless we get that close. Again, I think we have backs that they'll try to feed them the ball. For the rushing amount of yards, 400, that sounds fair. I don't think he's going to be super dominant. I think they're going to use his legs to try to keep him healthy. So I'd say 400 or less. And then as far as interceptions and touchdowns, we have 18 games, 17 games. Let's say 24 touchdowns and 12 picks. That's what I would say. Just and I'm okay if I'm wrong, but that's just starting out. I think he's going to be really good, but I think they're going to try to air out the ball a lot. And unless he's really accurate, I think that might be where he gets some picks.
And those sound like good numbers. And what's funny is Carr and Aaron Rodgers, they had about 26 and 14, which were down years for them. But I think that's a decent start for Pert.
What up? What up?
Hey, Ryan. So what do you think, John?
Oh shit.
You see, my thoughts about Trey Lance's stats.
Yeah, his predicted pre-prediction stats for the season if he's the full-time starter.
Well, again, I'm not a stats guy, but if I had to like just look at how Trey Lance played in those 4 games, like when it comes to his speed, I don't think he's a Lamar Jackson. I don't think he has that speed like a lot of the quarterbacks who are mobile. He's kind of slow. I don't know why, but when he was in college, again, he did play in North Dakota, so I don't really see him like running and getting like big running numbers. I do think he can throw the football, and I think if we go by the quarterbacks that we've seen, Hoyer, Mullins, Beathard, Jimmy, and Purdy, like for me, like if Lance can have like what Jimmy had like in 2019, which is I think like the only good way to evaluate how the quarterback can be. I think Trey could throw like the ball probably like 200 to 225 around that range. Probably won't throw the ball like more than like 25 times. Probably like 16, 17 completions. So I think he'll be efficient. So when I look at Trey Lance, I think he's going to be just an efficient quarterback. I don't think he's going to be like anything special in his first year because we haven't seen him play. So that's what I would say when it comes to like the stats for Trey Lance. I think he'll be efficient enough to win games. I think he'll be better than Jimmy because he won't be making the crazy mistakes that Jimmy does. That's just how I see it.
Would you be able to give a touchdown to interception ratio?
I what?
Could you give a touchdown to interception ratio?
Probably he'll hit like in the 20 touchdown marks. I do think he'll pass that mark. When it comes to the interceptions, he'll probably be like in the 10 range. So probably like around in the 20s, TDs, 10 INTs. Because again, he did make some boneheaded mistakes in his time when he did start. So that's what I would say. I don't think he'll make like a lot of boneheaded decisions, and I think Kyle will keep the ball off of him. And we got McCaffrey, Debo, but over time, Trey will attempt to throw the ball more. So I will get around the 20, probably between 20, 24, probably 10 to 12 interceptions.
What do you think, Ryan?
What was the question again? Sorry.
If you had to guess what Trey Lance's stats would be for the season being the full-time starter, what do you think his touchdown interception ratio would be?
Let's see. 17 times 2 is 39, right? Okay, so let's go. I'm just thinking two touchdowns a game. And you're talking about throwing or altogether?
Everything. Well, yeah, you can break it down to rushing, single, individual, throwing.
So I'm going to say altogether, I'd say do about 39 touchdowns.
17 times 2 is 34.
34, my bad. I was thinking darts, and I don't know why I came up with 39. So 34 touchdowns. Let's say 34 touchdowns. Let's go with like, I don't know, 14 to 16 interceptions. You know what I mean? Somewhere around half. You know what I mean? Give or take a little more or a little less. Yeah, and I think he could have 3,500 yards.
What about rushing?
Oh, rushing? Oh, I don't know, 600 rushing yards. I don't think he's a very accomplished runner. I think his best times to run is when everything else breaks down. And that's why I want a guy who's mobile, because when everything breaks down, I want him to be able to run and get yards. I don't want him used like Jalen Hurts. I want the threat. I want the threat of Trey being able to go off like a Jalen Hurts. Okay. So like in the beginning of the game, I want just the running back to get the ball the whole time while Trey Lance does the little loop thing. And then, once everybody gets complacent, then he keeps it. And that's how I'd run the whole game. You know what I mean? Is the moment they get complacent, I let Trey carry it once, and then that's enough. That'll get me through another 15 to 20 snaps, maybe. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's how I play that.
So my good buddy right here, Niner Gang Wolfcast, he says 49ers seem to be looking to draft a wide receiver. Will they trade Debo or Ayuk? Your guys' thoughts. Let's start with Steve-O.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Wolf was asking, do the Niners look like they're going to get a wide receiver? And if they're going to get a wide receiver, do they look like they're going to be trading Debo or Ayuk?
I haven't seen that yet, but I don't think so. We have 5 on the team right now, I believe. And I do ultimately think after we sign Boza and everybody else that I think Ayuk's going to be a cap casualty. I don't want that to happen. He deserves to stay here. But I think because we're going to have so much money that, he's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver. Who knows how many, 10 touchdowns at least a year. I mean, I just don't – I think eventually, in a couple of years, we'll end up trading Ayuk.
What do you think, John? I know we've talked a little bit about this.
Let's see. I'm the person who believes that you can find a wide receiver in the first round or in the 7th round or undrafted. You can find a wide receiver anywhere. It doesn't really matter as long as, you draft the right one. And of course, drafting a wide receiver is also scary because many wide receivers just do not live up to expectations in the NFL. So I do think, they'll look into wide receivers. They'll probably draft what they need. And I'm not sure if wide receiver is up there on their list. If a hypothetical of like trading Ayuk or Debo, one of them going, like they already paid Debo, the money. And so, it would cost us so much just to get rid of him. Yeah. But probably Ayuk, that joke, that Giants fans were like trolling Niner fans. He's going to be wearing, the blue the New York Giants jersey. And we do have a friend who's a New York Giants fan, and he would not mind having that on his team. But it's more like Ayuk could be that oddball. Like I thought Jennings was going to be that oddball, but so Ayuk is that guy that's like, if worst case scenario, if we have to get rid of a wide receiver, I like Ayuk. I don't hate him, but if you had to be like look what the Niners would do, like they might do that. They did let Buckner go. I was a big fan of Buckner, so never expect that the Niners are not going to do anything boneheaded. So that's what I would say when it comes to if we had to pick Debo or Ayuk. That's what I would think.
What do you think, Ryan?
I don't know. I think Kyle, not to say that anybody could be a Debo, but I'm sure Kyle can find people through the draft who have certain Debo traits. You know what I mean? And he can use them to certain advantages. The one thing we can't give up is a true number one wide receiver at this point. Debo doesn't get separation like that. So if Kyle can't scheme anything up, if the defense hasn't given anything for Kyle to break, then Debo's going to have a little more trouble catching balls.
Yeah.
But you can always go up line Brandon Ayuk against somebody, and you got a good shot of Brandon Ayuk coming down with that ball. You know what I mean? He's going to get separation. He's going to go up for it. He has a little dropsy here and there, but it seems like these guys come to play when it's needed. You know what I mean? Like, it's frustrating 3/4 through the game, but that last drive there, they got stick 'em on the gloves. You know what I mean? Like, it's something about it.
Yeah, I like Ayuk. One of the biggest things they said about him is his wingspan, and then one of the the most important things for anybody who's a player is your availability. He is so healthy. He hasn't been like injured this entire time. I mean, he's always out.
Preach.
And that's one of the best things about it. I know he's been, a lot of people are like, oh, he's not a super big Jimmy guy. I don't know if that's true or not. Jimmy and him seem to work whatever thing they had out. And then Trey Lance and him, they seem to have a really good rapport. So Ayuk definitely seems to get under his, quarterback and back him and support him. I do think Ayuk was very upset when Trey got hurt. And I think he did know what to do when Jimmy was on the field. I think him and Purdy had to develop a little bit, and then he started rocking with Purdy. I think Ayuk is a very good route runner, and he's a very good catcher. But like you said, receiver. But he does have drops every once in a while, and the drops sometimes are at crucial moments. But I guess you could say that with anybody. As far as Debo came in a little under, overweight maybe. He came in a little bit upset. He wasn't necessarily the happiest guy, and the most. He was there. Don't find me, right? I'm here, Kyle. But until Kyle's out there playing with him, he didn't seem to be looking like he was going to be a Niner very much longer. So
didn't Debo look better after he came back from the injury?
He did, I think.
Did he look lighter to you? He looked like he was faster to me. He looked like he was lighter. I wonder if, Christian McCaffrey came in and Debo's like, I ain't got to go in the backfield so much, so I don't need to be so thick. So he kind of just, got his body down more to that wide receiver, level of last year instead of him bulking up to try and be more of a running back. Oh, what up, sweetheart?
This is Holly. She had to pop in and say hello. But yeah, I believe
I got a little daughter too.
Hello.
You can't see her tattoo. There she is.
But
upside down.
Yeah, Ayuk did. He came in a little overweight, and then he was hurt. Once he healed up and got back into football shape, he was doing a little bit better. And I think we can't let him go. Not this season. Either one of the guys. It's just we got too much money locked up. Maybe in the future, if something happens and one of these other wide receivers like a Danny Gray emerges, or Juwan Jennings really hits the ground and becomes a lot bigger than he really is right now, then maybe we could get off of it. But Ayuk's too healthy. There she is. Yeah, happy little girl. So
if you notice, she's got her dog with her, and if you zoom in there, her baby is right next to her. That was her Christmas present. She is currently a driver. Watch out, people.
Yeah.
She's frustrated because she says there's too much traffic on her road. She wants to she doesn't want to have to wait for anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, as far as receivers go, I mean, if you don't block, you don't get the rock with us, and that's kind of hard to find out at college because even Ayuk said, I never blocked in college, and most of the time if you do block, it's crackback block on the linebacker. So we have the best blocking wide receiving core in the league.
Another disservice colleges do to players is they don't make their star players play special teams, which I know it sounds kind of weird, but these star players are going to go into the NFL and they're not going to be star players. They're going to need to find roles any way they can stay on the team, and special teams is one way to do it. So I think programs in college should be trying to help their guys out. Have them learn special teams, have them learn how to block. You know what I mean? Like, especially wide receivers, because wide receivers come in handy on special teams. You know what I mean? Gunners, all that type of stuff. Show them how to block, show them how to play special teams. Give your guys a leg up on the rest of the competition. And I don't understand why they don't do it, because if that gets your what do you call it? Your
blood pumping, man. Everything.
Well, it gets your cloud up. It gets your cloud
Yeah.
up. People are coming to your school because they know people are getting drafted in that position group. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing but goodness for you. Like, I don't understand why they don't do it more.
Yeah, I think you got something there. The fundamentals, college really needs to be prepping. If these guys are going into the NFL, and that's kind of primarily where these coaches know they're going, then they need to be prepping these guys to be going into like a pro-ready offense. They need to be knowing, hey, you're a wide receiver and you can catch everything, but can you block anything? And that's a very good point. What do you think, John?
Well, when it comes to having the players play like special teams, things like that, In my experience, this is my experience, because I've coached, I've coached, I've played, is that they have you play everything. Like, they when you're in college, you play everything. Like, there are corners that play receivers, there are linebackers and defensive players that do play like offensive line. So, you learn, what is your great skill set.
Not a lot of Division I schools, though. I'm telling you.
I have never had that experience where like only these players play these positions. When you're younger, and you move up, you develop where you play, but you've also learned. It's just like when players play other sports. Like I have never met an athlete, like a college athlete, high school athlete, even semi-pro athletes that say, "Oh, I have only played this position." They always tell, "Oh, I've played some corner, I played some safety, I played some linebacker, or I played some offensive line, I played defensive line, things like that." I've never met a player. That's just my experience. Maybe I'm just lucky, or maybe, but I do agree that players should learn how to play many positions.
Well, I look at it, like you go back, and I think me and Ryan were talking about it a little bit last night. You have sometimes players that can play both sides of the field and maybe like opposite positions. So you would imagine, and I think this is two good topics. You have like somebody like Deion Sanders who could play wide receiver or corner, right? He might not have been the best wide receiver, but he could do it. And then I think this is the other thing that I wanted to say is you have somebody like Kinlaw, who's huge, right? Could we move Kinlaw to the line? To the O-line? I mean, can we make him a tackle? Is that possible? Because or is it just, some people got it, some people don't. I know like a long time ago we had Kyle Nelson and he was the long snapper. They made him be a long snapper and a tight end. So, I mean, I like that, they're being versatile and stuff, but sometimes if, you are only a kicker, you're only a kicker. You can't be a kicker and a quarterback. I get it. I mean, only I'm that lucky, right? So.
When I played, we went both ways.
Hey, David, how you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How about you?
Good. Sorry for the delay. I was telling everybody I had to go down the street to go get a cup of coffee. So I'm here. We're all here. And
hey, I feel you. My 5-cup Mr. Coffee that I've had for I don't even know how long broke. So then I went shopping for a new one, and I was like looking at the 5 cups because it's just me over here, right now. And they did not have a Mr. Coffee that had a timer. I ended up having to get the big one. But, I like waking up in the morning to go to work and being able to go get my coffee right off the bat,
Awesome. Hey, Steve, you were going to say something.
I'm good.
Okay, cool. So, David, we were talking a little bit, about just about everything. So I just dropped that out there. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on it. Do you think we could move somebody like Kinlaw to the O-line? Or is that just that's a bad idea?
I think it would take a while for him to learn what, the position and what he's doing. He was a defensive line player, but when it comes to his knee, it might actually be better for his knee. Let's think about this for a minute, because instead of pushing forward and, fighting the offensive lineman trying to get leverage, he's going to be, blocking. And, it's kind of the opposite of what he does. But at the same time, I don't know if he's even going to make the squad this upcoming year from what I saw toward the end of last year.
Yeah. He's a huge guy, super big, amazing. Hope the best for him. I'd like to see him, get something out of it and, be able to put some numbers up and have a good career, but we'll see. So moving off of that, do you see any other people on our team that could possibly flip to a different side? I know we like to move players around in the back, in the secondary, like Jimmy Ward and stuff to different positions, but could you see any current 49ers being able to go to the offensive side and make a difference, or vice versa? I know like special teams is at Mulligan. We'll have them run down there on kickoff and, block and stuff like that. But as far as that, I know we had corners and we had maybe D and O line. Could you see maybe Kinlaw playing like tight end?
I don't think he could. If any 49er could switch from O line to D line or vice versa, I'm actually looking at Jason Poe. because of how athletic he is and all the traits he has. He could go be a three technique defensive tackle right off the bat, you know. But at the same time, he's about the only 49er I see that could do that.
Yeah. What do you got? What are you thinking, Ryan?
Sorry, I was battling on Twitter real quick. Well, I wasn't really battling. People were talking about Baker Mayfield coming to the 49ers, and I was having to I was talking to Ted, and I was explaining to him, like, look, that is coming from somebody's opinion. And it to me, it sounds like it's almost being reported as like a leak almost, or like inside information or something, because they're like per, the person. And it's like, oh, that's just opinion. It's that 49ers will have, hold on, let me read it. 49ers will have interest in signing quarterback Baker Mayfield per Albert Beer.
Yeah.
And that's 49ers NFL news, whatnot, right? They will have interest, or they likely will have interest. They should have interest. They're making it sound like it's what's being reported, even though it goes back to just his opinion when you research it more. And I'm just kind of explaining, like, they didn't even put in a claim on Baker Mayfield, whether they knew the Rams were going to do it or not. They didn't know. They didn't even attempt to put a claim on him. They decided they would rather go with Josh Johnson, which is we know now. But you know what I'm saying? That was that. So at their time of need, their biggest time of need, you would think they didn't even look at him, really. They didn't even make any attempt. And, I'm not saying that it can't happen or it won't happen. I'm just saying, as we know it right now, with off their actions, the last time they were able to get him, they were not interested in the slightest bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Albert Breer, he has a podcast. He's on FS1 with Colin Cowherd. And, he does his bit, he says he takes interviews and he basically puts his input. And basically he was listening to the press conference with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan talking about what are they going to do with the quarterback. And then the recent interview with Matt Mayoko. And he said, hey, Jimmy's gone. Brock Purdy, we don't know if he's going to come back. Trey Lance, a lot of question marks. They should look at Baker Mayfield, So basically, he's just saying an opinion. That's all he's saying. I don't think Baker Mayfield is going to be a Niner. It's just that's what he's saying. Like my observation, this is Albert Breer. My observation of the Niners, they need a quarterback. Baker Mayfield, it's not that bad. That's basically what he's saying.
And I'm not saying he's saying anything different. I'm saying it seems like everybody else is taking his words and like putting like reported next to it. You know what I mean? Like he's doing reporting on it when he's not. He's doing opinionating on it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like the certain words that they use, like it says, the 49ers will have interest. Well, how do you use the word will if you don't know if they're going to have interest or not? You know what I mean? Somebody's taking somebody else's article and putting different words to it. And I just kind of want to, tamper people's expectations a little.
I really don't want to see Baker come to the Niners. Maybe last season would have been a little different at the time, because he might have been the better option at the time. But that's hindsight looking back. At the time we were like, is he going to be locker room cancer? Is he going to move into Levi Stadium? Do we want that? God. No. We don't need those commercials. But Baker now, I don't think that's our option. I don't think we'll be going that way. I think there was some good points brought up last night and on other shows. He's probably going to stay in LA. Why would LA move off of him at this point? I mean, Matthew Stafford's had some serious injuries. He might be injured this season and not really say it because he definitely wasn't being honest about his elbow last year. So Baker Mayfield is definitely interesting, but I just don't think he's coming to the Niners. I don't think.
And what if Stafford needs like a full season off? This would be perfect. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we really believe in Matthew Stafford, but the guy's banged up. We've got Baker Mayfield here. He's got great chemistry with the team. He knows how to win with them. How about we just bring in Baker for real quick? This will be great for him too. You know what I mean? Because then he'll be able to turn over a new leaf. He'll be able to show he's the guy he's told everybody he is the whole time. And he knows that, his time will come to an end. But we'll also be like, hey, we're going to fucking either we'll make sure we trade you to a good team, or free agent wise, we'll just kick you out the door and let you go do your own deal. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
I
smart for them.
totally agree. What do you think, Steve?
I keep telling Rudy that he's going to replace Stafford because I don't think AQ Shipley had that same injury. He was never allowed to play again. So I don't know how big of a varying difference it is, but I mean, I kind of like Baker, but they need to do their due diligence and at least give him a workout. But I don't want him on the team. I think he's more of a commercialologist. I don't know. I might have just made that word up, but he's more of a commercial guy. That's my opinion. At least give him a workout, see what he's got. Who knows? And as far as I think Alex Gutierrez, McDonald's always talking about a thicker than a Snicker guy. He's 6'9", 330. If we moved him to like the nose tackle, I mean, I know he can't get low with pad level, but if we just put him in on like passing downs, if he's 7 foot, he's going to have at least a 2 foot wingspan. That's 9 feet. If he can only jump a foot, I mean, that's 10 feet. I mean, you're not passing in the middle. You know what I mean?
Why isn't he on punt blocks or kick blocks? You know what I mean?
I've never seen him play. I don't know if he does, but
No,
yeah,
but
I don't
he's
even think
never
they let him
suited.
play in the Cardinal game in Mexico.
But think about that. You got a long snapper, a guy who's only in there for long snapping. Well, what about a guy who's in there for just blocking things? You know what I mean? Like a big, long, lurch-looking motherfucker. Oh, excuse my language. I think it was my show. Okay. But yeah, a big lurch.
Talk.
Yeah, let's get him. You know what I mean? Let's put him out. Like I was even like, hey, why don't we see if Jason Poe can play some nose guard or some nose tackle? You know what I mean? Like, let's see what we could do. Let's start using everybody we got on our team. You know what I mean? Like, we've got people with talents. Let's use Jason Poe as nose tackle, fullback, tight end 3, whatever you want. Let's get him out there. Let's get him out there and start using him. He's great at pulling.
Oh, you just give me an idea. All right. So, like I was talking about like players that could play a different position or whatnot. So fullback, we have Juice. He's great, right? But why don't we use him more as a tight end?
Yeah. Well,
I
think in our 21 in our 21 personnel now, I think that's definitely going to be an option because you can intertwine the fullback and the tight end in our system pretty easily. And Juice is extremely smart. So I'm sure you could be like, hey, I need you to learn all these tight end plays right here. And it'll be like, okay, cool. He already kind of knows what the tight end's responsibility is in each play because they're paired up so much together. You know what I mean? In the blocking concepts. So I don't think it's really that far. You know what I mean? Like to be able to.
In the championship game, I thought he was going to be the quarterback coming in because supposedly he's our like backup emergency quarterback. So I didn't see why he didn't come in. I thought they were changing out his face mask, but then I don't know. Maybe that was CMC, but
we need some sort of offense that is just nothing but playmakers. Like you sub the quarterback out and you have nothing but playmakers and you have certain, you know what I mean? Like, and it should be like red zone. You know what I mean? If we're first and goal on the 2, oh, let's screw with their minds real quick. First down. Let's take out the quarterback. I don't care if Trey Lance is in there who's doing all these crazy stuff. Let's take out their take him out. Put all the playmakers other than him in there. And everybody's got speed. Everybody can jump, all that stuff. And let's put in a play that's just going to make the defense go, I don't know what's about to happen. Where they have to react.
Kind of like the ring around the Rosie.
Like what?
Yeah.
Kind of like the ring around the Rosie. Kansas City was doing. But we're also assuming that these guys are going to want to play those positions. Like we just seen Ward, he didn't want to do it, So we're just assuming these guys would go for it.
Well, you're talking about on offense. On offense, it's different than defense. Or are you talking about moving like right. Jason Poe? Okay, that makes sense. I was just talking about like with drawing up like the scheme on offense. I'm sure all the people would be down. You know what I mean? Everybody. Even the quarterback, who's getting pulled. I'm sure he'd be like, is that what I get to watch from the sidelines? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because it's all about scoring. You know what I mean? I know everybody wants to score, but at the same time, they also want to watch the team. It's like,
I mean,
Debo's not scared.
You could have the Wildcat out there, CMC in the backfield. You could have Juice right there, in the backfield with him. You don't know who's getting the ball. Debo on the side, I mean, you could throw it to Debo and he could throw it in the end zone. I mean, there's so many different options right there, there really is. That's a lot of fun, So.
Yeah.
Bro, Juwan Jennings was a high school quarterback.
Boom. I mean, like, we got too
What if
many
you sub
options right
Juwan
there.
Jennings in to take snaps?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, he's normally just going to hand it off, an option to be able to run with it, and block. This is the other thing. He plays quarterback on a play, right? So let him hand off. Let's do a reverse with it. And now Juwan Jennings becomes lead blocker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, like you brought up something very interesting that I just remember. I remember when Chad Johnson played, he's 1 for 1 in kicking because, Brian, you're the kicker guy. So I want to give you some kicking information. And, it goes back to what I said about like a little while ago. Like every player tries something out, like Juwan Jennings. I didn't know, he did quarterback. Kyle Juszczyk like raves about when I was in Harvard, I would throw passes, things like that, so like the notion, so yeah, like I wonder in the title game when Brock Purdy, had to leave, why did we not, like have Kyle's, big brain of writing up stuff, and figure out, use Debo more, use McCaffrey. McCaffrey threw one pass, it didn't look really good, but I always wondered, like, what if we allowed our position players to like make the game a little bit more funner? And when it comes to Jason Poe, like I remember last when we drafted him, put him at the fullback, put him at D tackle, like and Jason Poe was like, hey, I wouldn't mind doing some D tackle or fullback.
Raj said that he's really trying to go for offensive line right now because they get paid more, which I totally understand. But I'm thinking like, man, if I was him, I'd be trying to get just a suit up because you like with this offensive line, for some reason, they just like, I don't know. Supposedly the offensive line coach is one of the best in the league. I don't think that. It seems like the development takes a very long time and they're still shaky, right? Let's get somebody who knows how to teach people technique. You know what I mean? And make him the assistant coach. I don't care if you got to spend $10 million on the offensive line coaching staff. Let's get some guys in here. And who was it last night? It was Jay Steele. Shout out to Jay Steele. He was scared about us becoming like a production factory. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Because like if you can produce the players in positions, of skill and stuff like that, then you don't have to pay for them and you can pay for the other ones, other positions, you know what I mean? That you can't necessarily make, bring up from nobody's, you know what I mean? And I think if you do that in like wide receiver, offensive line, cornerback, and defensive line, you can spend money on all the other position groups and you will be a dominant team because those are the 4 position groups really that you want to take nobodies and turn into all-stars. And that will just make you rich, essentially, with draft picks, all that stuff. If you could take 5th and 6th round offensive linemen and turn them into all pros, bro, you're drafting in the top, everything because people are just trading their picks away to get your offensive lineman that you got in the stable. Even like this ain't even my front runner. This is my backup. This is my swing tackle. He came in a couple times this year, and he's the swing tackle that replaced my swing tackle last year because we got a couple picks for that one too. You know what I mean? Like that's how you get people.
Yep.
So
yeah. I remember, and I bring this up that like during New England's drought for like I think 8 seasons where they didn't win a Super Bowl, Bill Belichick did something that he would trade his first round pick down to get multiple 3rd round picks or multiple 2nd round picks, take those extra picks and then move down to the 4th, fifth, sixth, and seventh round to just like get a lot of players, because he knew that the more draft players that you get, you still get a higher chance of, not becoming good, but then you make a bigger chance of having more players to develop. And then when they price out, you trade them. I remember they traded like a 7th round pick and they got like a 1st round pick. Bill Belichick was very, very smart. And I think that's, good ways to like recuperate and still turn those picks and get even more and more picks, like what the Niners are doing with all these compensatory picks. And I've said this, like if you trade multiple compensatory picks, which is a new rule, you could get even up to a 1st round pick if a team is willing to get compensatory picks. So you can always find ways. That's why I realized that and I do agree, like I used to be a little bit set in my ways. I don't really think for having 1st round picks or 2nd round picks, because like there's a lot of expectations for them. But Kittle, Warner, all those great players, Emmanuel Mosley, were like 4th round and later. Like they've really, really improved. So we know how to draft good players, and so we don't ever have to take like a premier player that would cost a lot of money down the road. So I like that system where if you pile up a lot of picks, you get more opportunities. And then of course these later round picks, these guys are like more hungrier to show, I could have been a 1st round pick. And so I love that model more. So yeah.
Well, hey, real quick, let's have Steve, if you don't mind taking this question. Boomer T asks, is Jordan Mason going to make a big jump? Niners need a smash mouth running back.
Yeah, he's just got to work on his blocking. If he can't block and he's in every time, then they're going to know it's a run play. It's just not going to work out. And he's getting good clip yardage. So I'm big on him this year.
Yeah. What do you think, David? What do you think of what Boomer and Steve says?
I think I saw Jordan Mason bust off a 55-yard run to seal that Seahawks game. I don't think we actually used him enough. He's a bruiser,
Yeah.
And the whole reason why he was active and TDP wasn't a lot was his special teams play. And having a guy like him is definitely beneficial to CMC. When it comes to Eli Mitchell, I mean, he's a good running back, but can he stay healthy? It always seems to be the same knee. So maybe he should get that looked at,
Mm-hmm.
If he would have went out of bounds, he wouldn't have got hurt. Or if he would have stayed in bounds, he wouldn't have got hurt later in the game, pulled his groin.
Yep. That's true.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, John? Are you a Jordan Mason fan?
Yeah, I like Jordan Mason. Like when I want to say something that Rand Carthon said about Elijah Mitchell first. He says that the Niners initially were not interested in Elijah Mitchell, but whoever the running back coach, basically the Niners, I didn't know the Niners had an analytics guy, and analytics said Elijah Mitchell was going to be really good, but Kyle does not like analytics, so he had to explain to Kyle non-analytics to get Elijah Mitchell. But one of the things that the analytics also said, he had some injury concerns. But that's one thing. But if he can stay healthy, like I think he can be a really good running back. But Jordan Mason is sort of like Elijah Mitchell. He can run through the tackles. And again, I agree with David. Like Kyle, for whatever the reason, like if you cannot block, you're not playing. So I don't know why. And again, respect to Kyle, whatever he feels is good for the team. But I've never met a coach who's arrogant enough to say, if you're not doing something, you're not going to play, because there have been hundreds and hundreds of NFL coaches in its history. And they're like, you can't do little one thing. I'm not going to play you. No, they always play the players, no matter, and then if they're not doing something on the field, then you could say, all right, you're playing poorly. You're going to be on the bench. But I don't understand why, like Ayuk, you need to block Ayuk, or I'm not going to play you in the 2021 season. And the same thing with Jordan Mason. Well, you're not blocking, so I'll let everyone else who blocks, to get playing time. That's the thing about Kyle and how he coaches his team. But I'm a big fan of Jordan Mason. The guy has a big body, and you do need a running back that has a good big body. And that run, oh my goodness, he was just 1 second away from scoring the touchdown, and he just was very, very caught at the worst moment. I wanted him to get in the end zone. I wanted him to get a touchdown, but oh man, that still hurts a little bit.
What do you think, Ryan?
Anybody that doesn't like Jordan Mason, you got to go. I'm sorry.
Yep.
You
Jordan
can't
Mason,
see it.
he's got a lot of talent there.
If you can't see it, you're in trouble. I'm sorry. I just saw. Oh man, on Twitter, there's Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is trending, and like one of the third posts down says Kyler Murray fighting a goat at the petting zoo. Oh, it's here.
Wow.
Let me see if I can't.
Oh man.
Wait, I gotta wait for it again. Bow. It's too good.
I have a question for you guys. I just found this out this morning. Do you know we have a guy on our coaching staff that was a former player, and he played for the Niners and the Broncos, and he's won 2 rings? You guys know who it is?
He's what?
He's a former player on our coaching staff that played for the Niners and Broncos and has 2 Super Bowl rings.
Ryan Greasy?
I don't know if Brian Greasy played for the Niners.
Well,
that's
John
who I was
Lynch
thinking
played
too.
for the Niners and the Broncos.
Did John Lynch play for the Niners?
Yeah.
I know he played for Tampa Bay.
John Lynch played for the Niners.
No, he played with Tampa Bay, and he played with Denver
and the Patriots.
It's Anthony Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of another Mike Shanahan little tree I didn't know about.
That's a Mike Shanahan tree.
Yeah. Anthony Lynn is another guy who's like known the Shanahan family since the 90s. They played, and then in 2002 he got Anthony Lynn, to become the running backs coach. And since 2002, he's followed Shanahan, and then of course he branched his own tree, became a head coach. The Shanahans know a lot of coaches. I
swear he was in a Niners uniform.
So
maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I think that's where he got the familiarity from, is because Kyle met him in Tampa, and then he played for Mike in Denver, and then from there it's just been they're really close. Same thing with CMC, like John saying. Christian McCaffrey was his dad was in Ed McCaffrey was a 49er, then he went to Denver. That's who I thought you were talking about at first, and then I was like, I don't think it's that guy, because he's not a coach. He's not on our staff right now.
I swear I saw a picture of John Lynch in a 49ers jersey. Maybe I'm tripping.
Maybe that was that first jersey when they got signed to the team. Kyle had his 87, and I think John had his 47 jersey, their Niner jerseys. Because they officially became a team member.
Well, it's like I don't want to assume things, but he played for Stanford. Stanford sort of looks like a Niner. Well, not even close, but he did play for Stanford. Sort of looks like a Niners uniform, not 100%, but probably the closest. Maybe one day he was wearing a jersey, when he was on the field. I don't know.
Well, guys, I only got a couple more minutes. We're going to call it so we can get on with the rest of our Saturday and enjoy the rest of our, lives with our families and stuff. So before we head out, I'm going to start with you, Steve-O. Do you got anything going on today or any plans?
Just going to return that tablet. Probably get a computer or something. I don't know. But no, nothing going on. Just clean the house. Probably going to take the dog around and just a little. It's going to be like 45 today, so probably be able to get off a little bit.
Hey,
Cool.
Steve-O, I
What's up?
got a real cheap tablet from from T-Mobile when I signed up, and I was streaming on that thing, and that thing was perfectly fine for me.
Well, I have 2 tablets, but I haven't used them in so long that they went dead, and I disconnected my internet. Because I have a computer, but I want to be able, if I come on, I want to be able to see the chat so I don't ignore anybody, and I have, maybe I can. I just haven't been online enough to figure out how to do it. So,
But tablets are better for doing that, way better than phones, but computers are best, especially when you can have multiple screens. But
Mhm.
even just sharing the same screen and being able to have the chat on the side is handy.
Yeah.
John Jay, you got anything going on? Do you want to talk about your channel a little bit, or anything you got going on for today?
Yeah. So again, thanks very much, Brian, for having me on. Shout out to Brian and the panel. Again, let's help Brian grow. I'll do my part. I'll put his link in my community tab, so people can subscribe to his channel. But yeah, 49ers Ultimate Report. I don't really do anything there no more. I just do hangouts. I'm just basically like just a fan now. Like I don't really care about YouTube. Like for those who don't know, like about a month ago, I had a little mental issue and I had to seek counseling. And YouTube was just ruining my mental health. So if you just want a place to hang out, 49ers Ultimate Report. I still upload like little 15, 30-second clips on my shorts when there's ever 49er news. So check it out and have a good time. We have Corey Davis, our mutual friend, of course, McNider, Bryant, and everyone else who always pops in. And of course, we get a little cast of characters from other NFL teams who love to smack talk a little bit. So just if you ever watch it and you're listening to some of the guys, it's all respect over there. But it's just a place to just chill, relax, and talk football and whatever you guys want to talk about. There's nothing like that's what my channel is now. So it's a place where you just talk, hang out, have a place for yourself. Nothing serious. No one's right or wrong anymore. So that's the 49ers Ultimate Report. But Brian, thank you for having me on.
No, man, thank you so much. You've helped me so much. Between you and a couple other good guys around here, you guys have helped me get out of my shell a little bit and move on. And I really appreciate it. So everybody, please like and subscribe if you haven't been to John's channel, The Ultimate Report. It's a hangout show now. I'm sure in the future it might expand to something, but for right now, he's doing great. And if you guys want a good time, a good evening, check him out. Mr. David, what do you got going on?
It's John Morant.
Oh,
John Wick.
today I'm just running around doing, normal life stuff, pay bills, just lame normal life stuff.
Yeah.
But when it comes to devices, I'm actually on a Droid tablet right now. And I like my Droids. I had an iPhone back in the day and I just didn't like it. So, everyone's different, right?
Can you see the chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, tablets are nice, especially if you get a tablet holder that'll hold it like a cell phone. You can put it on a tripod or stand or something like that. It's hella nice because you'll get like the screen with everybody on will be over here and the chat's off to the side. So it's like 2 separate things. It's nice. Like it's just like using a computer essentially, but just a little bit smaller.
What do you got going on, Ryan? Any plans for today? Anything on YouTube?
I think I might start a new channel tonight, and we'll be playing music.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like that's why I'm starting a new channel. So like it's gonna be like screw YouTube. You can ding us for everything, whatever. That'll blah blah blah. Just as long as you don't shut the live show down. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm gonna be cool. I think we're just gonna So check my Twitter feed for that. Check out at Border Sports if you're interested in some music in the evening. I like a lot of hip hop. I like funk. I like R&B. I like good music. Don't get me wrong. I like some old school rock and all that too. We'll see who's in the show. See where it goes.
Well, one thing I really like, I got to shout him out, is our friend Shifty. Yeah, when I see Shifty, you know, I'm always so happy because one, you know, like he's got band shirts on that I like. He you know, he looks like people I listen to, you know. I mean, like he looks like he just came out of a Descendants concert or something like that, you know. And I like a lot of different music and
Descendants,
Shifty,
that Disney movie.
the Descendants. Oh my gosh, no. Oh no. And with that, everybody, thank you for coming on. Like and subscribe. I'll try to have another video on next Saturday. Bring your coffee. And if you have anything good to talk about, we will see you then. You guys have a great day. And we will talk to you again. Go Niners.
Go Niners.
Go Niners.